My name's Adele Onyango, and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to this episode of Legally Clueless, and if you are an OG member, I've got nothing but love for you. If you're a newbie here, welcome. You've been walking with us through this 3-part journey through Gachambi's story. Stay listening because part 3, the final chapter, is coming your way a little later in this episode. But first and foremost, let me show you around. If you're a newbie, welcome to the fam. Audio episodes of this show go out every single Monday, and they contain some inspiring African stories. On Wednesdays, we have the Midweek Teas, where I share topics that I think can help you on your healing journey. Our newsletter also goes out on Wednesdays. Thursdays, we have For Mannerless Women on our YouTube channel and also right here. And Fridays, we have a seasonal show called Ask a Therapist. Okay, so what you need to do is wherever you're listening to this on, make sure you subscribe, sign up for our newsletter, join our social media on TikTok and on Instagram. All of those links are in the show notes. So let's jump into part 3 of Gachambi's story. And this final part, first and foremost, if you've not listened to part 1 and part 2, please don't do that to yourself. Listen to the 2 previous episodes so that this one makes sense. But here, Gachambi takes us into the seasons after the big milestones. So after the admission to the bar, after survival mode, after applause. And there's so many things she talks about that I was just connecting with. I'm trying not to give away spoilers, but she opens up about grief, about sobriety, and just so much more. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
Now, all through this season's post-graduation, because I got admitted to the bar in November 2023, so all through it, I've been navigating my career. And let me just finish with the career part, then I can get into now the personal stuff that I feel as if is very important to share. So all through these seasons, I've been jumping. How high? Jump. Take this opportunity. No, don't take this opportunity. When I'm in the unemployment season, you get people are saying, why are you unemployed? Yet you're a lawyer, yet you've studied. Umesoma na hauna job, just as many other Kenyans who are actually out here fighting for the country. Most of these children are educated. People are very much educated. And in every sector, be it the fashion world, be it the makeup world, be it any space you can think of, the youth have it all. Just that we are slowly becoming into a nation whereby the system is failing, you see. And if it's failing, then someone will get to do something that it's not even giving them purpose. Because maybe you'll take a job that's just giving you maybe that fare or putting food on your table. But really, if you were asked what's ideal for you, you'd say, maybe I want to set up a tech space, you see. And all that. And I feel as if most people are seeing as if the youth are not putting in the work, or the youth are afraid of small beginnings. Trust me, even if there are those who are doing small beginnings, majority of the people are okay with small beginnings. No wonder people are taking even jobs or even trying to look for employment in another way, even if it's in form of self-employment. In Amanisha, it means that people are not afraid of small beginnings. There's a systematic failure. That's the issue. Stop saying as if the youth are usually just sitting casually. No, people are falling into depression. People are wondering, oh, but I studied a very good course maybe in JQuat, and I thought maybe by the time I'm getting here, there'll be something out of the education. And then if you ask them what's the issue, they'll tell you, I've been looking for jobs. And even if you look at the emails, people are sending in applications every day. So to anyone who's trying outside there, just imagine you're not the problem. It's a systematic thing. But then at the end of the day, we are the ones even to destructure this whole system. We have to do what we have to do, and we'll make it eventually. So this thing that I'm telling you, I made the wrong decision in August last year. I should have, or I shouldn't have, that we'll never know. But now it took me a step back. And I picked up myself recently, around March. That's when I now got back into the corporate world, this March. So I'm clocking maybe 23, 24, 25. I'm clocking 2 years post-admission to the bar. And you see, still, even till now, I'm in the pursuit of a greater thing. So it goes to show, imagine you just go and go and go, just go and go. Whatever thing that's meant for you will find you. Just don't despair. Because if I had despaired maybe sometime last year, or even after quitting that, or after being fired at that job, you see, there'd never be something out of me. People will never know, Jambi, you are meant to be this lawyer, you see. So that's it for my career right now. I'm thriving, but I know there's way much better there for me. And every day I usually wake up with a goal to become better, to be better, to become better for myself. And now to the personal life. So grief. Grief for me has been weird because there's so many manuals or so many videos or so many, I don't know, there's just this weird conception around grief, that it ought to be like this, you ought to be like this, you ought to have forgotten, you ought to have healed, you ought not to have healed. There's just so many things being said about grief, and we're not touching on the people. We're not asking Jambi, what do you want at this point? We are saying, Jambi, you should be doing this, you should be praying more, you should be maybe going and being around people more. Why are we not asking Jambi, what do you want to tackle this grief? Why are we not asking person X, you are grieving your dad, your mom, your sister, your friend, your colleague, your children? Why are we not asking, you, what do you want in this particular space that you're in? Because if we can't meet these people at their point of need, trust me, we'll never understand grief. And I feel as if to know things or to grow up is to realize that you don't have to know everything around everything. You don't have to be knowledgeable about everything, but just be empathetic about it. And how does empathy come across? Is asking these people what they need. And even if you're not in a position to provide that for them, it's enough for you to ask. So for me, when my siblings and I lost our dad, for me personally, I never got to deal with it in 2015. Because being a type A girly, you're on the move. You're on the move, you're not even realizing you're grieving, you're just moving. And then one day it hit me like a truck that, oh, child, your dad is not here. I was like, my dad is not here. It hasn't felt like it because I never got to sit with the grief. And it's okay for you to also not blame people, really. It's okay for you to say, by the way, I wanted person X to be there for me, but they weren't. But at the end of the day, you can't realize that you can't place that on people. Even if people owe you the common decency of life and whatever, if you can be that to them, that's okay. But if these people are not there for you in that capacity, it's still okay. And I got to turn around and realize all the things that I wanted, all the things that I did want out of this grief. Maybe I wanted a call from a friend, or I wanted support in this way. No one would have given me that, and it was a very hard thing to accept that, oh, you have to deal with this. And sometimes the only way how to deal with this thing is just to sit with it. And I think it hit me lately, the other day, I think it's 2 months or 3 months ago, around March, that my dad is no longer here, because you're marking his 10-year memorial service this year in October. And I just thought, what is life without dad? And I looked at the past 10 years and I'm like, oh, that is life without dad. That is life without dad. So the first thing, I've accepted now that this is life without dad. And I've looked at now the life without dad from 2015. It's been up and down and up and down and up and down. There have been very huge wins, because the wins are the immaculate wins, but the lows were really low. And that is life without him. So for me to honor him is honoring the life that I have built without him. Knowing that maybe there would have been a greater outcome if he was here. Of course, having your parent alive means that you're set up for success. Maybe not some people, but for me, granted, I'd have been set up for success. But then knowing that without him, I've been able to do all these things. I've been able to cry and he wasn't there, which is still okay. I've been able to graduate twice, which is still okay. I've been able maybe to have some personal improvements here and there, and he's not there. So for me to honor my dad is to accept that he's not here, of which I had been holding it for quite a long because I didn't deal with it. For my siblings, for them it's different. When they get to share the story, is if they ever do, then they'll get to share that part of the story. For my mom, now I've come to honor women, first of all. women who are alone in this world, who are navigating like even adulting and trying to make a living by themselves as widows. I do honor them a lot, and I see them differently. I see them as if God chose them to be the people who are going to stay here. You see, because maybe God was like, oh, your dad could stay, your mom could stay, but no, let your dad go first. You see, maybe the woman who my mom was meant to be as a widow is different from the woman who she was before. Maybe my dad leaving, you see, and even seeing her navigating life as a widow, the only thing I can do is turn and just give her a standing ovation, because I've never seen someone navigating grief the way she does, and she's walking through it, and she's still honoring the marriage that she had. She still works. You can say my mom is actually married. If you see her, if she was to come here, you'd ask her, where's the husband? Because she's just honoring it and walking through it and honoring the story that the husband is not here. So the same thing as me, I'm no longer in denial. And I wear the story every day. And even my sister and I, she usually says, when my mom comes, she usually says, ati mimi msinisumbue, niko na mzazi moja pekee, in form of banter, like I only have one parent, so don't disturb me. Usinisumbue, I only have this one parent, and it's a fact. It's a fact. And if you wear that story of your grief and losing the people around you, then the people who are meant to walk with you in that journey, they will walk with you, because then they come from a point of honor. They don't come from a point of questioning you. Unalia kwa nini na ni miaka 10 imeisha? Unaona, they'll come from a point of, okay, Jambi is a grieving daughter, or person X is a grieving sister, person Y is a grieving son, things like those. And yeah, it's been a roller coaster of emotions, and it feels weird to finally honor this experience and honor this feeling. But it feels good to actually say it out loud that you can walk with the grief, and it's okay. It's okay for you to crash out even after 20 years. It's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to do all these things. It's okay for even you to create a whole company and name it after your late dad or your late friend. It's okay. Like, it's okay for you. Allow people to grieve differently. Allow people to grieve the way they want. And if you don't understand, you just walk there. And if you're not in a capacity to walk there, leave them. Leave them. Don't come and impose things that you don't understand, because grief is actually deep, and it goes deeper than any feelings you can't touch on grief. You can't quantify it and put it in a particular box and say, okay, this is grief class 101. No. Yeah, so it's been nice. And I think I told my brother the other day, and I even posted on my IG stories, I'm actually becoming my father's daughter, because after the protest that we had, people were saying buy the Standard newspaper, and I started buying the Standard newspaper every day. And I remember my dad used to buy newspapers every day, even Sunday. You see, Sunday, the way you can't find the vendors selling newspapers, my dad used to have newspapers every day, and he was an avid reader. So even buying the newspaper, even reading the cover page, I'm like, yes, I've honored him. I've honored him. So long live Dominic Kadesha. And let me take you back a bit. Now remember I had a lover. And it ended in a bad way, but still okay. It's still okay. And now when that happened, I quit drinking. So I remember in my story, I've been drinking from when I was in first year. So I've been drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. So I quit in 2022. So this would be my third year in my sobriety journey in November. And you guys, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. This isn't a miraculous story or whatever. It's based off reality. I got ulcers induced by alcohol. Can't remember the word. My sister is the one who knows that word because she's in the medic field. I've forgotten the name, and I didn't know. Some used to think I just have normal ulcers. I had ulcers before, but then now the alcohol triggered it even more. And I didn't know. I was just cruising through life. With my alcohol, and my sister says that it would have turned out to be cancerous. It would have, if I proceeded with drinking. And she's telling me this story just the other day. Not even when I was drinking or whatever, because even then they weren't aware I used to drink that much. They just knew their sister used to drink, but how Conajua, they didn't know the intensity of this girl. This girl could drink. And when I quit alcohol, it sounded as a joke. You see, the way you can wake up one day and decide to go to the gym, then after a day, I'm a victim of that. After a day or 2 days, you're like, I'm so tired, let me not see it through. But for this one, I felt the urge to see it through. The continuous urge of, let me see what will happen. It's been a week, it's been a day, it's been 5 hours, it's been 24 hours, okay. That's one day, it's been 42 hours, okay. Okay, it's been a week, okay, fortnight, a month. And when I hit a month, I was actually shocked that the urge to drink wasn't there anymore. And also my stomach, because I have issues with my stomach, I wasn't in pain anymore. Like, I know I do have ulcers and I've gotten that checked, but I was not in pain. So I proceeded the other month. I'm like, okay, I'm not drinking anymore. And what I realized, imagine all the feelings that I had between when I started drinking and then, everything was just so blurry. And for the first time, I could see things, I could hear things, I could feel things. Like, if you told me, Jambi, you are a bad person, I could acknowledge that. Truly, I'm a bad person. If you told me, Jambi, you're a good person, I could acknowledge that. But then with alcohol, it often confuses your brain and mind. And it puts you like on this higher pedestal that you're just swinging, you're just winging it. And you're like, okay, you've been told you're a bad person. I don't care. You've been told you're a good person. Oh my God, thank you. You've been told you're a lovely person. Oh my God, you want to marry me? Things like this. But then now, in this sober mind, I got to hear and feel things without feeling the urge to even clap back when it's something bad. And if it's something good, I questioned it. Are you telling me that I'm a good person because maybe you want to take advantage of the situation and so forth? And my mind was sober. Even though I had withdrawals, I felt the urge to drink, but I liked whatever my mind was doing to me. I liked the fact that I know what my mind is, and it just proceeded and proceeded and proceeded and clocked 1 year. Then I clocked 2 years. In between, by the way, I did drink, by the way, but on several occasions, which I can still count till now. I know the occasions which I drank, and it was just like a shot or two. But I didn't like it. I was just like, okay, maybe it's someone's birthday. Why not? But even the deliberate decision to drink one shot on someone's birthday, it felt as if, oh my God, I do love this decision. That no one is persuading me. That even if when I drink a shot, I can say no to the rest of it. If it's a full glass of a cocktail, I can take, for example, one sip and say no to the rest without feeling guilty about it. And I've just proceeded like that till now. And now I've come to realize that, oh my God, there's no greater life than the one that God has in store for you. Because I was in the pits. With alcohol, I was in the pits. Because even someone getting maybe signed up or pursuing a legal career and they're spending 90% of their days drinking, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I'd have sat at home and sleep. But why would you tell your parent to pay these fees, yet you're spending 90 days? It's okay to drink, but then when you look at your results, you're like, you were hungover, no wonder you couldn't attend class. Why? Why am I doing this to myself? And I have nothing against people who drink. I am in social settings a lot because I am a social butterfly on most days. I do love a good party. I love a good party with choma and barbecue and just people drinking and all that. But then being on the other end of the spectrum, it would be bad if it goes and said that I do love it on this other end. I do love being the sober one because for the longest time I was not. And even some decisions that have been made by myself and the people around me were not decisions that I should have done, were things that I shouldn't have done truly. And it's been a beautiful journey in terms of support. I do have the best support system. When I'm with my friends, if they're maybe taking a cocktail, they'll buy a Red Bull for me. They'll ask me, what are you drinking? I'll take a mocktail rather. I'll drink even something fancy. If you're putting wine in a glass, I'll put water in a glass and we'll toast to that. So the social setup, of which I'm a social butterfly, so that hasn't gone away. But this thing that I'm standing on is also another thing that I am grateful for, the best decisions I ever made in 2022. because the girl before, she was wild and all that, but then now she's just a calm girl, of which I've always been a calm girl since then. Of course, I do have my rage side, but this is who I am and I love it so much. That's on alcohol. On love. On love, I did tell myself I needed to slow down, because if God granted us this love so freely, then why should I rush it? You see, and if it's bound to happen, it could even happen today. Today, 4th of July 2025, it would be the day that maybe I run into the love of my life and we clock it and we're like, okay, we're doing this. But also, I felt as if dating young is okay. If it works out for you, well and good. But for me, you wait for your frontal lobe to develop, because there are some things that I did do. I was like, no, Jambi, you wouldn't have to. If you were like now 28, there's no way you'd have made such a decision. But all in all, I'm according race to all the versions that existed before me, and all the versions are meant to be, because there wouldn't have been a story, even a good love story, when I meet my husband the day that God decides today. Of course, there are stories I'll share with him. Some maybe not. I don't know how marriage works. But then, how will I tell him that once upon a time there was this guy, there was this thing that I did? And also now, I've been single now, this is my 3rd year. I'm also acknowledging the fact that there are some toxic traits which I had and I needed to work on. There's some values which I lacked, which now I do have them. Things like patience, you need to be a patient person. Things like respect, you need to accord respect to your partner. Things like love, yes, it's enough, but then it's not. There's more to that keeps a relationship bound, and I lacked all that. And some things maybe I did have, but then they were not at their prime. Maybe if I was a kind person, I'm like, Jambi, you're not kind like that. You need to be kinder. If I'm a polite person, you need to be maybe toned down. If I'm a disciplined person, you also need to be disciplined in your relationship. If you love, maybe you're saying you love your family and friends, then you need to also love your partner. You see, things like those. And yeah, so that's been basically it about love. And out of this transitioning of Jambi, and I'll just give a reference of whatever my friend normally tells me almost every day, that we were friends before in high school, a bit, then separated just a bit in between, and then now rekindled our friendship just the other day last year. That I know you've existed in all these versions, but if you were to mirror yourself right now, you've become the most beautiful person that someone can meet. And she tells me that the way you honor your story, for me, I'll tell it. I'll tell my story. I'll tell my story and I'll tell it over again, because I want people to know that your best version, haijafika. You're not yet at your full potential. So do not give up. Do not give up. Do not give up. If you are a kind person, trust me, you have to be kinder. The version that's best for you is the kindest version of yourself. If maybe you're disciplined, you need to be more disciplined, even if you're in your finances, with your body, with things like those, like even things like alcohol. Be disciplined about it. Things like your body, be disciplined about your body. But like literally anything, the best version of you is not yet here. So who are you to give up at 28 and you haven't yet met your 30-year-old? Who are you to give up maybe at 22 and yet the version of you that needs to thrive, maybe she'll be at around maybe 25 or even 40. And also, don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. Hey, Mimi, I've changed my hobbies. Let me tell you, I've changed my hobbies over and over again. And if tomorrow you tell me, maybe we're trying out hiking, okay, that's a no-brainer. I can't. Maybe we're trying out something new, I'll try. Maybe we're into tennis now, I'll try. Yeah, so just reinvent yourself by your own speed, through your own way, and the best version of you exists in the way that you know best. And if anyone is not tapping into that potential that you have to exist in your level best, imagine, just walk away from it. If you're in areas whereby the only thing that you feel is anxiety, just walk away from it. Maybe not so much, but just learn how to navigate who you are without the societal pressure coming for you, without the standards that have been set worldwide. Everyone is coming to tell you, oh, by 28 you need to be married. child, where is the husband? But then maybe by 28, I'm not meant to be married. I'm meant to be maybe seated here filming this episode. You see, maybe that's the version that's best for me right now. And maybe at 29, I'll be filming another episode of my own, maybe. And maybe by 29, hand in hand, or 30, there'll be a partner waiting for me outside, or a baby crying and I can't be here for long, you see. So just go by your own pace. Go by your own pace. Take a support system with you, and always remember community. Don't let anyone take away that aspect and tell you that you have to do it alone. No. And even though you're doing it alone, just know you're going to meet a community that's also doing it alone, and then you'll end up building a community. Yeah, just go, and also have unwavering faith in God. And even if on days whereby you've not prayed, don't beat up yourself. God is a God of mercy and grace. Pray, love the people that God has sent to you, because one day they won't be there. Because even I forgot to say this part about grief. Allow me just to take you back. In between 2015 and now, I have lost 2 aunts. I have lost my other mom. I have lost, oh, back then I did lose a classmate. I've just lost, like to death. I've lost a lot of people to death. But even so, the will to wake up and just believe and just know that if God has granted me another day, then I need to be here. And that's enough. Because if you were supposed to die, you'd die. But then you were still here. So don't live as if, let the dead bury the dead. Even though you're grieving everyone around you, you've lost everyone. Just remember, you've lost your business. Because you could be grieving things that are not mortal. You could be grieving your business, your friendship, your career, and all that. Just know that if God has granted you another day to just wake up and land on your feet, then you need to be here, and you need to live as if you're here. You don't need to live as if you're dead, because if I was looking at the people who have died in my life, I was like, okay, they're not yet here. So if my dad had a purpose that he wanted to fulfill in 2016, he didn't. So his purpose ended in 2015. You see, the same thing as my aunt, the same thing as my other aunt. If they had things to do here, God said, no, you, my child, over and out. But then God has you here, so you have to live like it. Don't live as if you're dead. No, because there'll be a time even me, myself, I won't be here. You yourself, you won't be here. None of us will be here. So at the end of the day, none of these things count. So as long as we're here, let's just proceed living as if we're here. Let's try our best, and sometimes your best is just enough. You see, and let's keep on hoping that things will get better. Keep on trying here and there. You don't have to stick to one route. Keep on believing that things will get better for you. Keep praying to the Lord Almighty, because He saved me. He saved me twice. He saved me thrice. He saved me every day. And I wouldn't have made it past 23. I wouldn't have made it, but I'm happy that I got to know God in a very personal way. And I've mentioned God a lot here because there's no greater love than the love from God. And He's seen me through the trenches of me, even hosting clubs. If I look at myself, I was just like, Jambi, you were so young. What were you doing in the club full of men? And He's looked at me in days where I've failed. He's like, your story is not yet over. You have to be admitted to the bar. You have to become an advocate, because your purpose here is not just being a lawyer. You have to be an advocate for me to fulfill whatever things I want for you. He's shown me love, and His extension of love has enabled me to extend love in a very big way. My love knows no bounds. I don't know how to half love. I don't know how to give half love. I don't know how to love you just a bit. It goes all the way. And to the people who have been able to experience my love, they can attest to it, not to brag. They can attest that my love knows no bounds. And yeah, that's basically it for my story. And yeah, to know me is to know love. To know me is to know that there's so much depth in Jambi. But for me, I just want to be an encompass of a girl who has been favored by God, and a girl who was resilient enough, rather, to sit through the chaos of life and not allow it to change her. Yeah.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. That is the final part of Gachambi's story. What a powerful 3 weeks, right? What a powerful 3 weeks. And as I listened to this final part, 2 things landed very deeply for me personally. First, grief. grief doesn't end. I think it just changes shape, right? And I completely agree with her on that. When she says this is life without dad, that moment hit very hard because I feel like grief isn't something you finish. When I was very early on into my journey of grieving my mom, I thought it's like a project, right? There's a start date, there is chapters you go through, you evaluate, and then you finish the project. It is not like that. It's just something you learn to carry, you know? So I feel like if you are on your grieving journey and you are waiting for the pain to disappear, you're almost shooting yourself in the foot. I feel like what you need to do instead is to learn how to live alongside it, honor it, let it inform you without swallowing you whole. Does that make sense? The other thing I connected with deeply from this part was like sobriety, you know? Sobriety for me is not just about quitting alcohol, it's also choosing presence, right? And her sobriety journey really reminded me so much of my own. The clarity, the feelings coming back, the ability to actually hear yourself again. I find that choosing to be sober is often choosing truth. And it's like various truths, right? Truth about your body, about your pain, about your boundaries, about your capacity. And that choice of going sober can quietly change everything, you know? But she's just such a powerhouse, right? Like her entire story just reminds us that the best versions of you are not behind you, they're ahead of you. And you just don't need to rush to meet her. You'll get there. Your own journey at your own pace. I want to know what you connected with from Gachambi's story. So wherever you're listening to this on, please drop a comment. I love hearing from you. And if this story resonated with you, make sure you dive deeper into the Legally Clueless Africa family. Watch our shows like For Mannerless Women on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, link in the show notes. Make sure you check out the Midweek Teas when it's out. Sign up for our newsletter. It's also linked in the show notes. And follow us on Insta and TikTok. All of that is in the show notes. If you want to share your story on this show, there is a storyteller form in the show notes. Sign it up and one of our correspondents will get back to you. Thank you so much for listening to this show to the very, very end. And as usual, I think you have every single thing it takes to heal. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.